Hello, this is Mr. Schneider. Hopefully, you're enjoying your days off while work. So, this is podcast 3.2. We're going to look at some documents that influence our Constitution. Now, many of these documents we could speak much longer on, but we're just going to look at a few short snippets out of each document talking about how it influenced our Constitution. First one's the Magna Carta. And what the Magna Carta did was it limited the power of the monarch. And it's where we see equal treatment of the law and under the law and trial by one's peers. This is really the first time that a king said, you know what, maybe I'm not all powerful, all knowing, things like that. They started to give rights back to the citizens. All right. Next is the Mayflower Compact. It established direct democracy. You vote for who we vote for people that are elected to office, except for president. And it's also the first time it stated that majority would rule, not taking away powers from the minority, but saying that whoever wins the most votes or whatever laws are voted receive the most votes, pass or not pass. Majority would be the ones that would be in charge.
When the Pilgrims finally reached America, not only were they really late, but they were in the wrong place. They had landed far to the north of Virginia. This was a big deal because this was not where the land patent stated they were to settle, and it meant that winter would soon be upon them, and they were low on food and supplies. Before disembarking, the Pilgrims would sign the Mayflower Compact. The Pilgrims knew that some earlier settlements in the New World had failed due to the lack of government. The Mayflower Compact was a social contract in the form of a sacred covenant sworn before God, in which the settlers stated their purpose for coming and consented to follow the rules and regulations of the government for the sake of survival. The government, in return, would derive its power from the consent of the governed. The short little agreement is often referred to as the very foundation of the Constitution of the United States and a cornerstone of American government. Future U.S. President John Quincy Adams, who also had ancestors on the Mayflower, would later describe the Mayflower Compact as the only instance in human history of that positive, original social compact. A compact that many believed to be the only legitimate source of government. Some modern textbooks have stripped out the compact's sacred language in order to be politically correct. Find an unaltered copy and read it. While you're at it, read the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution, but we'll learn more about those later in the series.
Next are the charters of the Virginia Company of London. There are actually 3 charters, but they're very long. But all you need to know about these is that it guaranteed the rights of people living in England were guaranteed to the colonists that came over to the New World.
Excuse me, sir. Are you looking for a fresh start in a new place?
Why, yes, sir, I am.
Well, then Virginia's the place for you.
Virginia?
Yes, Virginia, where the grass is green, the sky is blue, and the land is plentiful. Well, close enough.
Well, that sounds pretty good to me.
But wait, there's more.
Oh?
Yes, more. In addition to the plentiful land, you get freedom of religion.
Even Buddhism?
Yes, even Buddhism.
Wow, what could be better?
I'll tell you what's better. A say in your government.
A say in your government? You can't find that here in England.
That's why you should go to Virginia.
I'll start packing. We're the Virginia Company.
And we approve this message.
All right, so 2 Virginia documents I want to talk about. The Virginia Declaration of Rights. It's important because it served as a model for the Bill of Rights in the Constitution. And the Virginia Statute of Religious Freedom, which promoted freedom of religious beliefs and opinions.
Hey everybody, it's Mr. Omi. Today we're talking about Virginia's influence on the Bill of Rights, or how 1 + 1 = 10. That'll make sense later. First off, you gotta write this question down. How was the Bill of Rights influenced by the Virginia Declaration of Rights and the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom? Well, we're gonna answer that question now. The first document we're gonna talk about is the Virginia Declaration of Rights, written by a very famous Virginian, George Mason, basically outlining the basic rights that men have. Rights we've already talked about. But this was actually before the Declaration of Independence. So Mason reiterated the notion that basic human rights should not be violated by governments, things like life, liberty, and property, but again, before the Declaration of Independence. We're also going to look at the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom, written by Thomas Jefferson. What did this do? Well, obviously it established religious freedom, but not just that. It also outlawed the established church. That is, the practice of the government's support for one particular church, whether it's Christian, Jewish, or Muslim. We're going to separate church and state, basically. And lastly, James Madison in the Bill of Rights will use the Declaration of Rights and the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom when drafting the amendments, the first 10 amendments that make up the Bill of Rights. So, 1, Virginia Declaration of Rights written by Mason, plus 1, the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom written by Thomas Jefferson, equals 10, the first 10 amendments to the Bill of Rights, written by James Madison. 1 + 1 = 10. Got it?
Remember, it's not math. All right, Declaration of Independence. This stated the grievances against the King of Great Britain, declared the colonies' independence from Great Britain, certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and that all people are equal under the law. What this basically was a breakup letter from the United States to Great Britain. They were becoming too clingy. They weren't letting us, go out with other people. We were tired of hanging out with them. So we wrote them a breakup letter.
I'll kick it to him like a macho Camacho. See, he's got the moves. That's what the
actual footage from when they were writing the Declaration. Articles of Confederation. All right, so let's talk about the Articles of Confederation. This was really the first attempt to have some sort of central government. Still gave major powers were with the individual states, and it was but a very weak central government. There was no taxing. It could not enforce laws, so it really led to the writing of the Constitution.
It's 1781. The states are all fighting. No one has the power to get anything done. The Articles of Confederation turn out to be a blueprint for political disaster. So, what exactly were the Articles? Many of us vaguely remember them as America's original Constitution, the flawed prototype for our federal government, right?
No one thought of them as a constitution. The states had constitutions because the states were the sovereign entities.
The Articles were explicitly designed to have a weak central government and very strong state governments.
Under the Articles, the 13 original states aren't states as we know them today, but more like independent sovereign nations. There aren't 3 branches of government like we have today either. What little power there is wielded by the one and only branch, Congress.
The revolutionaries wanted to keep the Congress very limited in power for fear that it could become another British Parliament, and whatever power the states would give to it, it might turn that power against them. So they made sure that the real power of government remained on the state level.
Instead of passing laws that the 13 states must obey, the most Congress can do is ask pretty please. The biggest disaster in this flawed system is the economy. 13 different paper currencies flood the country, fueling runaway inflation. Unregulated tariffs push prices sky high. And the central government is always broke, since it has no power to levy taxes.
And so at every level, from Congress to the states to the towns to the individuals, people are strapped. And this is one of the reasons why that a new way of thinking about the form of government, the authority of government, and the way in which revenue should be raised becomes central to the questioning and the revisioning of the Articles of Confederation.
But for those Americans desperate for food and jobs, a debate about fixing the government isn't enough. They want to take the whole thing down. In 1786, a former captain in the Revolutionary Army, Daniel Shays, leads a mass revolt against the government and attacks the Federal Armory in Massachusetts. It takes the battle-scarred Massachusetts militia to finally put down the rebellion. But a new wave of uprisings seems like a sure thing, unless Americans can come together and agree on how to run the country.
So the first government said something has to be done. We either have to strengthen or replace the Articles of Confederation with something that is more workable and not as weak.
All right, that's it, guys. Thanks a lot. Again, podcast 3.2. Have a good day.